Imagine you are a teenager, alone, hungry, and living on the street. Everywhere you look, there is potential danger. You have run away from home or been thrown out of your home, and you are very scared.
From a youth who is afraid to go back home because her stepfather is there and she's not sure what's going to happen, to a youth who has gotten a really bad report card and is afraid of the consequences of going home, to a youth who is in a situation where there is abuse in the home, either substance abuse, physical or sexual abuse that's going on.
There is a place these children can call, no matter where they are in the United States, a big city, or a small town.
We are here to help them be reunited with their families or get to a safe place if that is not an option.
It is the National Runaway Switchboard.
National Runaway Switchboard may help you.
At NRS headquarters on Chicago's North Side, these volunteers take more than 100,000 calls a year, from frightened children who have run away from home to many parents desperate to find them.
It really makes you realize that there are so many people out there who need help.
Volunteers like Christina Van Pelt are on the other end of the line.
Who are you with right now? Are you in a safe place?
Throughout her life, Christina has always been generous, giving money and volunteering with various charities. But her time with the National Runaway Switchboard has been especially gratifying.
It's one of the most challenging things I've ever done, but also one of the most rewarding.
One night, Christina took a call from a teenage girl who had persuaded her boyfriend to drive her from Alabama to Florida. She was trying to escape enormous burdens at home.
She had many younger brothers and sisters, and she was having to stay home from school to take care of them because her mother was taking care of her mother who was dying of cancer.
The girl had wanted to see a nursing school in Florida, telling Christina,
I want something more for my life. She said, my grandma's dying and I don't want to end up like her, just being poor my whole life with no education and then dying of cancer.
But in Florida, her boyfriend, who was older, was arrested for bringing an underage girl across state lines. The teenager was now stranded and certain to end up on the street in a town where she knew no one.
She didn't have any money and no means of transportation.
So Christina got both mother and daughter on the phone.
How did that make you feel?
And mediated the conversation.
They're both crying, and she says, you're my shining star, you're my baby doll. You are so smart and so beautiful. And she says, I'm so sorry that I put all this pressure on you.
Convinced the girl would be okay going home, Christina made the return trip happen, thanks to the generosity of Greyhound. In a partnership with NRS, the bus company offers free trips to children who need to get back home.
Sometimes I just want to reach through the phone and say, I feel your pain. I understand. I really want to help you.
Christina learned how to help such children through the National Runaway Switchboard's intensive training program for volunteers.
Reflective listening is reflecting a little bit of what somebody's saying to you.
They spend many hours learning how to handle calls. Volunteers are as young as 16, some are senior citizens.
They are all trained in the same model of crisis intervention so that no matter who calls, they may get the voice of someone that sounds like a peer, or they may get the voice of someone that sounds like a grandmother to them.
For children who cannot go home because of abuse there, or they have been thrown out of their homes, the volunteers have access to 13,000 services across the country to help them too. A simple phone number, 1-800-RUNAWAY, is often the difference between safety and peril.
Youth that live on the streets end up initially being victims of crime. They are very vulnerable to people out there, and ultimately, just in order to survive, become perpetrators of crime.
Every year in the United States, between 1.5 million and 2.5 million children run away from home. The National Runaway Switchboard is their lifeline. and it exists because of our generous donors, those who give money and those who take calls from scared children and scared parents 365 days a year.
Today, there is a boy that is on the streets of America who is hungry, alone, and afraid. There is a girl on the streets of America who's about to become a victim of crime because she is homeless. The donations to the National Runaway Switchboard will ensure that we are here for those children and all children who need our help 24 hours a day.